I'll just see what he does. Yes, he goes for the straw, fully bites it. Now he is fully aware. He will probably still bite it again. There's there, you see. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my first of many, hopefully many, tarantula videos. No, that's not fully true. I think I've made two in the past. They were shot with my mobile phone. So alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me with some new equipment that I can use to make videos and to inshallah produce better content for all of you. So today I want to show you what we're gonna do. I have two tarantula species that I want to rehouse into a new enclosure. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the very first one here is my Parahybana. Let's have a quick peek. He is right here, just chilling. Not doing much. I have fed him I think 2 days ago, so he's fine. His abdomen is quite chunk. That's good. Those red lids used to be his water dishes, but as many of you know, if you have your own tarantulas, they don't like the water dishes. They just flicker them around. So yeah, that's what happens. So size-wise, this enclosure is actually still adequate for the species and for its size. I still assume that he will grow a little bit more. Parahybana is one of the larger species. I think like that a female can be hand-sized, so I'm not gonna go too close to compare. I think he would appreciate me keeping my distance. But regardless, he could grow a little bit and it's still fine for the species to live in this box. Tarantulas in general, they don't need a lot of space. They are very energy efficient in their movement. They are opportunistic hunters. They wait for prey to come to them and not the other way around. I mean, there are other spider species like the wolf spiders, for example, that would go out to hunt. So keeping them in a small enclosure would not be adequate. But for tarantulas, this is perfectly fine. There's not really a I heard people say there's a rule of thumb that you 3 times the body length, or like the leg span length maybe should be. So this is still adequate. There's a little height where he can go under, and the cork bark is digged under. But what I want is basically use this new enclosure here. Well, new enclosure is a plastic box, right? But that's quite usual for a tarantula. So I bought this box in like a €1 store, drilled some hole for some airflow, basically for some ventilation, circulation, because that's obviously important. This spider wants some moisture, otherwise it would start molding, and yeah, so that happens. For now, I think I use this cork bark here. It's probably the biggest one that I have. I have some others here to the side. This might be a little bit too long, but it could work as well. We'll try out what we can do. I don't want this to roll away. Okay, let's close him up. So I just want to show you what the goal is today. So now the other species that I have, she is right there, as you can see, moving around. I can't open her up because, as you can see, it's fully webbed and to the lid. So if I open the lid up, then I would basically destroy the whole thing. We'll do that later, but then when we can rehouse her. So basically the idea is to put Parahybana in the new box, make it nice, then take everything out from the old box, clean it up, put fresh substrate in, and new cork barks. For those I have like those special tubes, because I think that spider is semi-arboreal, at least, so it likes to climb. Other species just want to live on the ground. So it can climb and make a hole, make a hide in the cork bark. And I have 2 of those. that I will use, inshallah, for her to have 2 hides, and she can basically choose whichever she would like to have. And I'm saying she, I don't know the gender of the other spider. She hasn't told me yet. Just kidding. In the next mold, inshallah, I will be able to identify the sex of the spider, inshallah. Now, as a little disclaimer before I start, I myself, even though I'm a big spider enthusiast, I love those animals with a big passion. Since I was a little kid, spiders were I mean, I love animals in general, but spiders were something that always like fascinated me very much. So, but I got into the tarantula hobby like 1.5 years ago. So I still consider myself definitely a full-on amateur. I have some little knowledge about it, and inshallah that will help me to do this today. But I want to say that it's also for me something that I have respect for those creatures, not particularly because of the harm they can do to me, even though they have their ways. Those two are bigger species right now. They have grown quite a bit. Their fangs are very sizable. I think like from Parahybana it's about 1 centimeter. So their mechanical bite is actually quite powerful, and it should probably hurt if you get bitten by them. Their venom, however, their venom, however, is not medical significant. So that means it would probably be like a bee sting, maybe a little bit more, but it's nothing that is concerning for me to be rushed to the hospital. Obviously, we want to still avoid getting bitten. The other thing is, Parahybana has urticating hairs, which she will basically be able to flick off her back and shoot in the air, and those have like little barbs, and they can puncture in your skin, and they will then itch, right? And that itching is quite severe, actually, from what I heard. I've never experienced myself, alhamdulillah, and hopefully I won't have to experience it. But yeah, the itching apparently is quite severe, but the skin is not really the big problem. The problem is if you get it into your eyes, or if you breathe it in, then I would actually go to the doctor, because that could be quite painful and maybe has some long-lasting damage. So let's try to avoid this. Luckily I have glasses, and yeah, maybe I actually will put up a mask for dealing it, because one thing I also heard is that Parahybana, for example, she will lay hairs around her hide, basically, to fend off any predators, so that then when they come near and they trap into them, when they get stuck, then they go away. It's like, okay, no, that's not worth it. So I'll be very careful with handling her. The other one I don't think has those hairs, but I think she has a bit of a stronger venom. And one of the reasons why, as you can see, I'm on the floor currently, is because it's not only me that is that could get harmed in the process. It is especially the spiders, and for them even more dangerous than for me, because, as I said, they are quite energy conservative. They will usually, when not disturbed, move quite slowly, or when they're not seeing any prey. However, what they can do, as what we call in the hobby like bolting, or even teleporting, is like a fast, spontaneous movement in any direction to probably get away from any threat. Before that's oftentimes their first way of defense, is to get away. So what could happen if I try to get her out and disturb her? That the spider will bolt. And if I would be like on a table, it could be that it falls off. And then, since they have like an exoskeleton, which is in most parts quite hardy, there are soft bits, especially the abdomen, that could rupture, that could break open, tear open, and that could possibly be the death of the spider, most certainly. So that is to avoid. So we'll try to be like confident, we'll try to remain calm, and then inshallah everything will be going well for us. So like I said, I haven't done this yet, and I hope this works. Hi. What I'm using here is 100% cocoa fiber. It is quite easily to get. It comes in like a brick, and you put water in it, and then it becomes like this really nice soil. And oftentimes it is used in the hobby. If you're more familiar with the species, it's best to adjust the substrate to better fit the natural environment. But as a base, I heard that cocoa fiber is always something that you can come back to. So this won't be the most prettiest enclosure, but like I said, I want to try to just fit this in here, maybe dig it in a little bit, so it will gives like a hole. Yeah, it's difficult for you to see it. Maybe you can see it like this. So now it's like goes down, and we have like here a nice place for her to go. Make some weird noises. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's because it just fits in there. So what we want to add is still a water dish. I'll just get one of her old ones. Let's see if she's happy with what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't know. Okay, good. She didn't move at all. So yeah, we'll just put that in here. Just move it around. Should be fine. I'll just put one here in the corner. They're actually quite small, and probably I should get a big water dish. Mostly the spiders, they get all their moisture, or a lot of their moisture, they get it from the prey item. Like if you have like one of those big worms, they have a lot of moisture in them. Or what I do with like a little spray bottle here, just spray a side of the enclosure, so there's like water droplets on the side of the enclosure, and like some moist substrate as well, so that she can get the moisture like this. I still try to provide the water dish, but I'm quite unsuccessful with it. So maybe if you know and have any tip for me how to properly provide them a water dish that they don't fill with substrate, or just flick it around if they can, then let me please know. Yeah. So, like I said, I would just use this here now, spray some of it down, and fill the water dish. So now that side should be quite moist here. Now to the fun part. Now we want to move Parahybana out of her old enclosure. Therefore, I will be using, inshallah, this cup, or if it's better, maybe with the straw here, I would just like basically either try to put her into that cup, and then transport her with the cup into the new enclosure. I'm using this here. This is a paper straw, and why I'm using it is because they might go for it in a way that, and the first they might think it's a food item, and they will try to bite it, or they will try to defend, and so they will also try to bite it, and they can just easily puncture here through the paper straw without hurting themselves. If I would use some metal and they try to bite on the metal, it might damage their fangs. So we'll try to be very careful with that. I'm actually thinking of maybe I should wait for my wife to be here to record this. Okay, so but before we go to the big spiders, where and I've decided to wait for my wife. She will have to record this. Lucky for her, right? I decided to rehouse some of my smaller spiders. Here I have, I can only read it. This is Nhandu Chromateus. Nhandu Chromateus is a very little enclosure, and it's also a very little spider. So another is the same size, but why am I doing this rehouse is the same size of a cup? That is because she came with a very, very moist enclosure, and it didn't dry up and it started to mold because this is in that thick plastic. I can't drill holes into it, so I can only drill holes into that little lid here. So there is not the best air circulation, which is fine, but yeah, as I said, it doesn't dry up. So we will just try to get her out. I'll try to do it like that. I don't know if you can see her right now. Yeah, there you can see her. That is the little spider. Come on, you don't have to worry. It's all good, yeah. It's all good. So, okay. Now, we have her on the hand, as you can see. Very little tiny spider. I hope the focus is good enough for you guys to see her. So I'll just use this as a paintbrush, so there's like really no harm to her, and we'll just see like she's quite very great, right? I have no idea how to get her from there. We'll see if we can do it like this. Yep, and there she is in her new enclosure. Let's hope the focus works. Yeah, and we will just leave her in there. All right, alhamdulillah, my wife is at home, so now I have a cameraman, which will inshallah assist me to give you a better view of what is happening. So we already transferred the little Chromateus into the new enclosure. Now let's focus on our big guy here. I will be using a mask for this because I don't want to breathe in any of the urticating hair that he will eventually shoot at me, or which he'll probably shoot at me or in my direction. So we're gonna test. In general, we need to get him to used to that. We will use a straw, and so he will maybe go first for it, try to attack it, try to defend from it. I don't know. So this is the most like tense situation, is like the first contact, basically checking his mood. I will just have this here a little bit in case of a bolt, right? That's what we want to avoid. I'll just see what he does. Yes, he goes for the straw, fully bites it. So that's just basically him attacking. So now he knows this is not food, right? Now he is fully aware. He will probably still bite it again. There's there, you see. Okay, so he's in a bit of a feisty mood, okay, which doesn't make it easier to transfer him. What we'll try to do, because I don't think I'll be able to put him into the catch cup, so I would want to put him directly in his new enclosure. Therefore, I'm going to lift him all up. We're gonna place him in here, like that. And then we're trying to move him. He knows he cannot harm this thing. So now we can move him. Now we're on a good track. This is good, this is good. Now we don't want him to bolt away. No. You move. This way is good, this way is good. He is really not interested in going out of his enclosure. This is new territory for him. So he has something now to grab. Hold on. He wants to go back in. No. You stay there. You're out now. This is no longer yours. Stay. Good boy. Very good. Okay, I just want to move him down. Just hold him in place here. I'm just holding this here to control him. And then we're just going to put the lid on and we let him settle himself. So, alhamdulillah, he is in the new box. Okay, I can take this off for now. Whew. So as you guys could see, the first moment of the interaction with the straw is the most intense one, because that is like, what is it? The spider is just chilling and suddenly something comes to it. It tries to defend itself, and that's perfectly normal. This is not aggressive behavior, this is defensive behavior. But once the spider figured out that this is nothing to eat, nor is it something that hurts or harms it, I was able to maneuver the spider, even though there was definitely some resentment to wanting to go out of the box, because obviously this is his home, and he has been in this box probably like for a year or so, maybe now, so for quite a while. So now being in a new environment, he will be now fully at rest. I'll leave him completely alone. He has been fed 2 days ago, so probably like a month, I will just leave him alone and adjust. I will empty out the old enclosure, and then I will see you in a second. Okay, and when we started the recording again, we thought everything is fine and everything will work smoothly. However, there was an issue with the audio, so it's no longer usable. The video footage, however, that we managed to record is really great, and I would like you still to continue watching, and I'll just give you some commentary now from my editing desk. Yeah, so I'm basically just showing you the cork barks that I want to use and how to place them. One of them that will be put there, then we just put some extra substrate in. Gonna fit the other one in here on the other side. There's also a very nice tube for her to hide into. I'll try to give her some options, and a little plastic plant just for good measures, right? So we're gonna moisture. We could put some moisture in the enclosure, just spray it like the other one, and some water in the water dish, and I think it already looks kind of cool. And especially since this is a species that is gonna web a lot, this is gonna be pretty awesome, I think, how it will look in the future. So now we're gonna look at the spider while she is still in the enclosure. You can see her there moving around, and yeah, now we're gonna open it up and see, probably do from the other side. I think I do it. Yes, turn it around, so you can basically have a look, and she cannot bolt towards me. Just a wife. Yeah, just careful. You don't want to scare her, obviously, and there's a lot. The webbing was actually quite thick and quite strong. I thought it was more loose, but it's really strong silk. So you can see her there, and you can also see all those white things. There's actually mold that developed, because I tried to keep the enclosure moist, but there was not enough air circulation, so that I show it there. So there is actually mold create. It's not harmful to the spider, but it's still not good. So I try to get the web a little bit away, and you see that she's actually interested in it, thinking probably it's food time, almost coming here out of the box. But yeah, you can see this is a very gorgeous species. Subhanallah, like those orange, like the orange coloration on her legs is just beautiful, and then the black, and like she has like green on her, like on their head basically, and yeah, it's a stunning species. We'll try to get the light a little bit better. This is one thing that we noticed during the recording, that this is not fully how we wanted to do. We already will inshallah improve upon the setup a little bit with the light, because it's too dark. So we'll turn that around, I think, now. Not too much. Yeah, more. Okay. So we have some more light. You can see that a little bit better. Yeah, much better. MashaAllah. Now you can actually see the spider and the beauty. MashaAllah, is so gorgeous. Really, I love this species so much. You just don't see her that often, because she likes to hide with her webbing. So let's try to get her out. The same procedure, like I just touch her, see how her reaction is. She's definitely interested. I don't think that's defensive behavior. That's more like, oh, okay. She noticed it's not food. So instead of, there you can see the different characteristics. She doesn't go for it. Then she just like, okay, it's no food. Leave me alone. Like, just I don't want to have anything to do with that. Go away. not defensive at all, but rather like retreating. So now try to get her out. And you'll see she really doesn't want to leave as well. I mean, that's her safety again. Okay, and there we go, and she just goes straight into the cork bark. That's what I wanted, so she has that safety right there. Some more light with the mobile phone. So you can actually see the spider now in her new enclosure in the cork bark. It fits perfectly for her size, and she will be able to use that even like after 1 or 2 molds more. That's perfectly fine. They can actually squeeze themselves in there pretty well. What I do is now I just want to get her out again real quick so you can have a better look at the spider and really fully appreciate her beauty. And I mean, look at this. This is so gorgeous, mashallah. Such a beautiful creation. And yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. This is magnificent. So a little bit of focus here. So, and there you can see a spot on. That is gorgeous. Subhanallah. Yeah. So what I'm showing here is they're called springtails, and these are little tiny creatures, and they are basically nature's cleanup crew. They will be responsible for keeping the enclosure tidy in a way that they will eat everything that is organic but dead. So they will not eat the spider. They will eat basically the leftovers that the spider doesn't eat. So you can see them here moving around. And yeah, I'll just deposit them there. You can have a nice view on them. There's like tiny little creatures, quite cute. And yeah, they basically eat everything. Very good to keep the mold away or other like mites to appear, which happened actually quite frequently when you hold spiders or other animals. There will always be other animals be attracted to it, into the ecosystem. So that's basically just completing it. I just put half of the box in there with her. So now you can see all those little bugs moving around in the enclosure and getting to work. And also this is their new home. SubhanAllah, I'm happy with the camera, and it's such a good, you can actually see that pretty nicely. SubhanAllah, just the lighting, the light, if we figure that out a little bit better, get a better setup going, then inshallah we will be able to produce some really good content for you guys. Okay, so now we took another quick look into Parahybana's enclosure, because we're gonna add the springtails there as well. Just make sure everything is in there. Didn't want it to disturb her too much, so I dumped most of it in the back and then a little bit to the side. The soil will then mix eventually. Like I said, didn't want it to disturb her too much. Just get every springtail out of the box because there will no food be there won't be any food left, so that they don't die in there. That would be sad. So try to get them all out. There you can already see them running around. Okay, then this was basically it for today's video. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you I hope it was entertaining for you. I hope you could learn a little bit as well. Inshallah, I will be doing more content as well like this. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Jazakallahu khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you, and may He guide us all. I will see you in the next one. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.